We are here to talk about the Dark Souls 3, the newest DLC. Releases. When is that actually?
It already is out. Came out last night.
Okay.
At 9.
But it did leak last week on Xbox One. You said okay, cool. So I guess like the main thing I want to know is what is going on in this DLC. Is it worth returning to Dark Souls 3 for in this like slew of holiday releases?
Sure. Lore wise, I can't help you too much because I didn't play too much of the Souls stuff before. But you're pretty much going into Ariandel, if I'm saying that right.
Ariandel,
I guess so.
Yeah, something similar.
Yeah. So it's like a snowy place. It's worth it in the sense that, you know, anyone that plays Dark Souls probably wants to play more Dark Souls, right? So like for me, like not played Dark Souls for so long since, you know, like release, it's that whole like learning how to play again and then like being frustrated at first because it does kind of what that old Hunters did, where the first couple areas you're just getting swarmed by people instead of like running into like one or two people. Yeah. It's just like they're all over the place and you're just like frantically like dodging or rolling around, and then getting frustrated from dying because like you kind of forgot how to play and you don't have the muscle memory. But then ultimately being rewarded once you figure it out again, like, oh yeah, this is why I like Dark Souls, because it's like really fluid and you feel like satisfied and rewarded when you actually like, okay, I learned how he's going to attack me. I can dodge like 8 wolves now and kill them all and it's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's basically if you play it, you're going to want to play it, I guess. If you play Dark Souls, you're probably going to play Dark Souls 3 DLC.
Right. For people who have played all Dark Souls 3, it might be on like a second or third consecutive playthrough. Mm-hmm. Is it easy to get to the Ashes of Ariandel DLC? Like, how do, because remember, like old Hunters, you had to go.
Content, though, I think.
Right. Yeah. What's like the level recommendation?
Sure.
Is there one?
So from what I know, it's that if you're like, say you have a new game and you're just like in your normal just first playthrough, assuming you haven't beat it for some reason, it's about 70 to 80 is about the level you want to be at for the content, the DLC content. And it's actually really easy to get to. You just go to the Cathedral of the Deep, I think. I probably just screwed that up. But like, you know what I mean?
Are you talking about where you fight Vort? Or the Dancer of the Boreal Valley?
Neither. Oh. It's where you fight the gang mob of priests.
Oh, right. The bottom floor.
Yeah,
of that.
So it is the Cathedral of the Deep, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you take that bonfire, and then the moment you get to that bonfire, there's just like a dude that's kind of like to the side that's kind of praying and just talking to himself. You let him go through his little monologue, then you talk to him. He's like, touch this painting, a piece of a painting, and he's like, touch it, come on. And then like all of a sudden, no, it's seriously.
Predatory. That's not a painting, as it turns out.
Yeah, seriously. So then, you know, of course you're dumb and you touch it, and then it just like vacuums you into that world somehow.
It's like the Matrix or Alice in Wonderland or the Witcher 3 DLC did the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's like an easy way to get people into DLC now, is to suck them into paintings or mirrors.
I mean, they did that in Bloodborne too, right? Like the alien just like black holed you into new area.
True, yeah.
So
I guess at a certain point you don't care as much how to get there as like actually getting there.
Yeah.
But how long did it take you to finish?
So I haven't beat it. I'm on what I think is the last boss. I'm pretty sure, like I'm almost positive. It took me about 5 hours, I think, to get to last boss. Granted, again, playing like really late at night and starting to get frustrated. I was trying to like rush through parts, and like that just ate up like 30 to 40 minutes of just being really stupid of, you know, you can't rush through some of that stuff.
Yeah, knowing Dark Souls, the last boss could take you anywhere from half an hour to like 2 hours.
Exactly. So I would say the DLC is probably like a 6 to 8, anywhere from like 5 to 8 probably, actually, rather, depending on how good you are, how like leveled you are. Maybe you're over leveled, you know, or you're just really good at the game. So it just depends, which is fair. I think it's $15 for just this DLC, or you could buy the season pass, which would be both DLCs for $24.99.
Okay. Watching the gameplay right now, it looks really open. I mean, I remember old Hunters was a little more open than Bloodborne was, because Bloodborne had the branching paths, as like, you know, the From Software games tend to do. Dark Souls 3, the base game as well, was kind of, there's some open areas like when you get to the woods at the beginning, but it was still also like specific paths you had to take. Is that kind of the case here?
The cool thing about this area is most of it kind of interweaves with each other, which is what Dark Souls 3 did a good job of as well. So it's kind of like you go this way and you're like, oh, I kind of loop back around. And in terms of the areas, they are, for the most part, more like open areas. Like you see this area, there's what happens. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's early, so it's fine. You know, this is kind of like near the start, and you happen to see wolves, and some of them howl, and then guess what? The whole family comes, and you're kind of surrounded. And the wolves, the AI actually is like relatively smart in the sense that as you're running away, they try to circle and they try to cut you off, so that, you know, that kind of pack mentality, I guess, so that they kind of like surround you. But it's intense. There's a couple areas like this that are like really open, and there's just like 3, 4, 5 enemies like surrounding you. So you have to kind of like deal with that properly. But of course, in true Dark Souls fashion, there are also very tight linear paths on like mountains where there's 2 guys in front of you. And guess what? You kind of got to like pull one away, hopefully, and then kill him and then kill the next guy and hope that you don't roll off the ledge. I rolled off the ledge or a mountain at least 2 or 3 times,
but
really
only because you were
surroundings.
tired and it was late at night.
No, there was a couple where I just straight up botched because it's like that old Hunters thing. I hate to keep kind of comparing it, but
for those who aren't like completely familiar, Old Hunters is the Bloodborne DLC.
Yeah. So for some reason, some of the enemy types in this, like you think that they're gonna be like running out of stamina after like 3 sets of moves, and he just does like a 4th that doesn't really make sense. Like, oh yeah, I can finally attack you because you straight up did like a jumping smash melee with then follow up 2 melees. He's got to be available. Nope, turns out he just doesn't care and he can keep attacking. So you got to kind of get used to that too. But in my opinion, there aren't that many enemy types. And so like once you figure them out, there's like a handful, and once you figure them out, it's not so bad. It's more about fighting like multiple like different enemies, I guess, of the few that there are.
A lot of wolves from what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, there's so if it's not just wolves, then it's like a Viking guy with a wolf, and then you got to deal with both of them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really wish they kind of just went down the path where they combined both of them and made one meaty expansion instead of separating the DLCs.
This is the first of 2.
Yeah, this is the first of 2, and I don't know. That's just a preference, I guess. I'd rather have more at one time and wait longer than to like play some and be like, okay, now I gotta wait another like 3 months until like the next one comes out. But they did that with Dark Souls too, so.
So I really like the Old Hunters because the bosses were pretty tough. I had a really hard time with some of them, and it actually kind of felt like it was Bloodborne still, but it felt like they did enough new things, and like the world itself is a little more open and weird to like kind of justify me buying that expansion. Is that the case with this, or are you kind of more lukewarm on this, or overall, what are your impressions?
Of the boss fights, I'm not gonna say how many of the boss fights I've done, they seem interesting enough. I feel like they're not reinventing the wheel, though. They're not so different, than stuff you've encountered over your Dark Souls career or history of playing these games. Right. But there's enough of a like twist that it's like, oh, okay, like this is kind of stressful. And I know that I haven't even gotten to whatever phase that I need to in the last boss I'm fighting. And I know there's some surprises there. So I haven't seen all that. But in terms of just the stuff I played, it's worth $15. I mean, if you're getting 5 to 6, I mean, it's all relative, right? Like what's worth it to you kind of as a consumer. But I think if you're getting 5 to 6 hours of a game that you already enjoy playing, and that's not even me playing the PvP, which they have like 3v3 PvP and stuff like that now. I think it's worth it. I think like I said, anyone that plays Dark Souls is probably buying the DLC, right? So
sure. Yeah, I'm excited to play it. I'm hoping to find time between all these releases coming up. We have a bunch still left before the holidays hit, and then we have a bunch more in the spring. But yeah, 5 to 6 hours seems like an ideal kind of time. I don't know. That, like you said, $15 seems like agreeable. But that is Ashes of Ariandel DLC for Dark Souls 3. It's $15, but you can buy it as a package for $25 with the next unannounced DLC, and that is out now on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.